The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds where the sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 9th day of December 2023. Jimmy Valentine's birthday. Happy birthday, Jim. We'll get to more of your save you. That was Jimmy Valentine actually leading us into the show. His big single out there on Spotify, Save You. Make sure you guys check that out. But anyways, today's show is, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts as well, such as the Corner Booth podcast, Rising to the Occasion, Morgan Man Sports, Sports Stove, no credentials required. They're all over there at Belly Up Media, bellyupsports.com. And thank you from all of us here at 1420 World Headquarters for making us a part of your day each and every day here at 1420 World Headquarters. It's great. Great news we got yesterday. Like we said, I got one nominated for the Creator of the Year over at Belly Up Sports. It's kind of a pretty big honor for all the writers and everything else we got going on there, and podcasters and everything else. And so it's kind of a nice little pat in the back, I guess, like I said yesterday. But anyways, let's get into some shots and thoughts for this Saturday morning, 2023 December morning. Got a Christmas party to go to tonight, so that should be a lot of fun. Get out of the house for a little bit. But anyways, the Ohtani watch got going yesterday, and what an absolute disaster that turned out for the Toronto Blue Jays and their faithful. Somebody decided to John Morrissey out of, I think he's out of New York or whatever he's from, doesn't much matter. He reported early that he was a private bird was chartered by Ohtani, and he was on it, and he was going to be his management group had a flight coming from Anaheim, I guess, or Santa Ana, California, wherever he resides. But there was a private jet coming to Toronto. They were going to get this deal signed, sealed, and delivered. Then all the rumors, everything else started taking shape, where Kikuchi had a reservation for 50 people. So that was going to be part of the whole celebration. Everything else with Ohtani signing a contract. There was never ever anything reported by the Toronto Blue Jays. There was never a press conference scheduled by the Blue Jays, but that also might stem from the request for the privacy that Ohtani has. We talked about that the other day with the Dodgers and how they kind of got away from the privacy thing, but something got out yesterday that and it ran wild throughout the day. Overdrive was talking about it. There's a lot of people talking about it all day long. Twitter was a buzz. Facebook was a buzz. Sports media right across Canada were a buzz, and there was a lot going on. But as it turned out, Bob Nightingale at around 4:00 Mountain Standard Time, he said that, you know what, this ain't happening. Ohtani's at home. None of this is true. None of this is happening. So Morrissey had to retract, and he said he got some wrong information, everything else. So everybody kind of had egg on their face a little bit throughout the day because the Ohtani watch didn't happen. The Ohtani signing didn't happen. It doesn't mean the Jays are out of contention for Ohtani. I think it's a 2-horse race. We've talked about this a lot. I'm still not too happy, as you guys heard the other day when we talked about this, but it's one of those things. It's going to take some time. And yeah, I got a little amped up about guys not signing and things not happening and everything else. And I still feel that way, but I'm not going to get in there because Dave made a good point on our show on Thursday night that, you know what, this is a pretty big decision. This guy's going to spend the last leg of his career, 10 years plus. He's going to be living in a city that he might not be used to. He's going to be moving, him and his dog or whoever else is going in there. And this is a major decision that it takes some time to get. I believe it for a little bit, but the guy's going to lead a pretty pampered life no matter what. So he's going to be okay no matter where he decides to live and hang his hat. He won't ever, like I said, we said the other night, he won't ever have to go outside if he doesn't want to. He'll have the Kawhi watch, and like how Kawhi Leonard did it in his world, parking garage to parking garage. He'll never have to see the light of day if he doesn't want to. And then they play in a dome in Toronto if that's the problem, that weather's not his thing. But everybody got caught in it, and I don't know if there is some kind of a bonus that these guys get if they are the first to break the news, because once you break news, especially with today's day and age, it's on Twitter instantly, right? So everybody just pat each other in the back, say, yeah, you got it first, you got the scoop first. Yeah, it's probably a pat in the back. ego-wise, I guess, but I don't know if these guys get an extra couple of bucks because they broke the news first. So maybe all the guy has to do is keep throwing crap on the wall and hope something sticks, and then you're the one who gets the credit. I mean, it could be quite easy. Just throw out a tweet or a Instagram post once a day that could be just completely outlandish, and if it happens, it happens. Then you're the one who gets the pat in the back and everything else. Like I said yesterday, a pat in the back is only 3 feet from a kick in the ass. So it's you buyer beware when it comes to these situations and these guys saying things to hope that they're the ones who break the news about Ohtani. I hope it does get done in the very near future, not only for the Jays and for other fan base as well, but I really hope that it is a Toronto team now. We had a little chat yesterday with Moose Hildebrand, friend of the show, and he was saying he kind of hopes that it would be a great thing for baseball in Canada and for the Blue Jays to end up with Ohtani, but it would kind of be bad for Ohtani's legacy, I guess. I don't know if that's the proper wording that I'm using there, but it wouldn't be great for Ohtani and everything else, because it would be better if he was in a place, I don't want to say New York, but let's say if he was in, let's name a team, Boston. Let's say if he went to Boston and played there, you get a lot more eyeballs, you get a lot more Sunday night baseball. It would grow the game a lot more than if he was hidden away up here in Toronto. Maybe that's what he wants. He seems like a pretty private guy, and he wouldn't have the same ilk and the same pushback or the same media attention up here in Canada as he would in places like Boston, New York, Chicago, and the like, or LA, which he didn't have in Anaheim. But the Dodgers are a lot different than the Angels. So let's not kid each other here, but it's one of those things you wonder why. You just hope it gets done soon. Now for the Jays fans, I hope that it is them who gets it, because it would be a bit of a kick in the pills on Monday morning if he signs somewhere else after all the anticipation that everybody's going through yesterday. But we'll see how that all turns out. Get into the sport of hockey a little bit. You got problems out there in Pittsburgh, and I thought they were going to have a much better season when they went out and signed Carlson and everything else, and Crosby's still putting up points, and Malkin's still a great hockey player, and Letang is still up there, but that team hasn't scored a power play goal in its last 37 chances, and you wonder with just those four guys I named, you think that 5-on-4, you have four of those guys on the ice at once, but I guess there's only one puck. You think that eventually something's got to go in net, and I don't think this is a personnel problem. When your power play is that inept, and you can't get something if you can't score 5-on-4 or 5-on-3, I'm sure there was a 5-on-3 involved in there somewhere. You wonder why that didn't get done, and they haven't been able to put one in the net. It's got to be a coaching situation. It can't be on the players. Maybe some players should just take some onus and just do whatever they want, because once you're out on the ice, you do whatever you want. Like, they're going to bench Crosby? They're going to bench Letang? Are they going to bench Malkin? Are they going to bench Carlson? No. So maybe these guys just got to take the bull by their horns and not go by the X's and O's and the whiteboard and everything else, and just start throwing some crap on net and hope something goes off an ankle or an ass or off another player or off a opposing player. It goes in the net and get a cheap one, get a rebound or whatever it might be, because it's that's going 37 straight with that talent and not getting a power play goal. It's hard to do, to not get shots on, like quality shots on goal this day and age. It's a tough to do and a hard thing to do. And you get players squeezing their stick a little bit. They're trying a little bit too hard to get that power play goal. They're trying to get everything done all at once, and they're just trying too hard. Sometimes the easiest solution is the easiest solution. Put the puck on net, crash it, and get a cheap one, and let the floodgates open. They're only one game under 500, so if you think that power play gets rolling a little bit, the Penguins should be okay, and they should contend for a playoff spot. But right now, boy, oh boy, that having that, I think it's 51 by it's a 1990 or like a 90s era Leafs team that has the record. I believe it was. I think I read this morning. I can't remember what year it was, but I know it is the Leafs at 51 straight. So 3 or 4 more games, the Penguins could be there. They don't play for a week, so they're going to go the better part of 3 weeks on a power play goal. You think about that? That's crazy. And the NHL's got to do something about these the way it is right now. But there's teams with 28 games played. There's teams with 23, and they all catch up in the end. I get it, but it just seems that this week off that every team gets. Let's get the season going. Let's get some momentum going. It takes away from like Ottawa doesn't play any hockey games. Like they're never on TV. They never play any games. They seem to be falling behind, but they got games in hand like crazy. Another one that got some interest for me last night was the Oilers got their 6th straight win last night. They're still 5 points behind Nashville, still 5 points behind Arizona. Yeah, they got a couple of games in hand, but you can't think they're going to win. I don't know what their schedule is like, but they're still 5 points behind 2 teams after winning 6 in a row. go. So that skid to start the season was awful. It just shows how you can't have that kind of a stretch at any time in the season to fall behind and just hope that you can put together 10 in a row. That's what it's going to take for them to end up being pretty much in a playoff spot, and that's tough to do. So you wonder, like, it's just crazy to think that the season can be done that quick, that early, and then you're just screwed for the rest of the year. You'll play out the string and just hope. But it's something to watch. McDavid's flying again. He's got 34 points in only 22 games played, so he's having himself. He's getting back on track after the coaching change, which I still think is a BS coaching change. But it's one of those things. It's working now, but they would have won those games, I think, regardless. It doesn't much matter. But he's 10 points behind Kucherov, and Kucherov's played 5 more games than McDavid has. So you wonder, well, if he has a couple, 3, 4 more games, 10 points is nothing for McDavid the way he's playing. And that goal he scored last night against Minnesota, that was something else. That was a how's she going? See you later. And he beat the whole team, and then he made Fleury look like an idiot at the end of it. But it was he's flying. He's having himself a season, as we all knew he would. He'd come around to it, but it's just too bad that Jay Woodcroft had to be the guy to be the sacrificial lamb when that was all said and done, because it shouldn't have turned out that way. And you think, everybody's patting the Flames on the back for the season that they're having with their lack of talent, lack of goal scoring, everything else, and they're tied exactly with the Oilers. So it's just funny how the expectations are different for every team, and the way it all works out with that. You just you think that the Oilers, they're in tough. Like, that's 5 points, still a lot to make up. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit of Toronto Maple Leafs. They're in trouble. They have a great team right now. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. They're flying. They're winning hockey games, but they have a situation now where Joseph Woll is out and out for the foreseeable future with a high ankle sprain, a leg injury, the whole, like, it's kind of up in the air right now what's going on. But so now they're going to throw Samsonov in there, and you don't know how that's going to go. But they have Martin Jones, a reliable backup, 400 plus games played in the National Hockey League. Not a great goaltender, but he's a serviceable kind of guy. But the Leafs been living and dying by Woll. He's been so good for them, and him being out of the lineup for foreseeable future, you don't know how that's all going to turn out, because between Samsonov's ears, he's his worst enemy. He's almost, it must be a Toronto thing, because that's how Campbell was when he was in Toronto too. Just their worst enemies of maybe reading the papers too much, a Toronto Globe and Mail or whatever, or the Sun or whatever, the paper that they read. If they don't even read papers anymore, who am I kidding? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all turns out for the Leafs. And you wonder why goalies get hurt so much. Well, I know why. Because I was watching Overdrive yesterday, and Jeff O'Neill, the O-Dog, he was asked the question, like, I think he knows why too, but just the like, you look over the years, you had Patrick Roy was playing net for first Montreal, then he went over to Colorado, and he played every night. Marty Brodeur played every night for New Jersey, and then you had Eddie Belfour wherever he played. You had Curtis Joseph wherever he played. These guys played every night. There was no off days, everything else. The way the goaltending is taught, and we're not going to get this in this rant again that I had on a couple days ago, but the way the human body works isn't the way the goaltender's legs are being told to bend at a young age anymore. They're not building certain muscles. Don't have certain ways of playing. And now the way the game is played, it doesn't bode well for goaltenders of the future, because the way that their legs are being utilized, the way that their joints are being hammered on at a young age, right on through, they're not getting a chance to recuperate. And because they're playing goal all the same way, all these guys need more. They're having more wear and tear on their bodies, and it's not a good thing for the goaltending trade. The way that these guys are in and out of the league so fast, and they're thanks, bye, see you later. And there's a lack of good goaltending across the league, and the Leafs are in a little bit of trouble right now. You never know; they might be able to play through it. They have a good hockey team there. They're not a great hockey team; they're average, but they're winning hockey games. They're a mid-ranked team right now because they had some struggles earlier on, but they need to find a way to maybe get David Ayres, and he doesn't play that way. The old Zamboni guy, maybe have him stop a few pucks for the Leafs. But you wonder how that's all going to turn out with the lack of Woll for probably until Christmas, you would think. Anyways, that's only 3 weeks away. So you got to think what are we going to do? That's actually 2 weeks away. Now they look at the old calendar down there. And tonight, the Heisman Trophy ceremony gets going in New York City. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State, Michael Penix Jr., Washington, Bo Nix out of Oregon, and Jaden Daniels out of LSU. Usually this goes to the Maxwell Award winner. The Heisman's it's still one of those things. It's a very prestigious award. Whether it's still as prestigious as it used to be, who knows? But it's one of those things that I tend to watch, and still you clamor over Heisman winners, and we talk about a lot on the 1420 podcast. Never draft the Heisman winning quarterback. They never ever. I shouldn't say never. They rarely turn out very well. So whoever wins the Heisman tonight, don't think that they're going to have a great NFL career. That's kind of the way it turns out. But last night, They gave the Maxwell Award to Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington, so look for him to win the Heisman tonight and take home double awards. And the Heisman and the Maxwell Award are pretty much the same thing. They just have different voting groups who get it. But so look for Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington Huskies to in the Pac-12 champion. It's nice to see a couple Pac-12 guys in there because Pac-12 it's their swan song. Well, it's done. It's all done. Thanks. Bye. See you later. There's no more Pac-12 at all. So it's sad to see, but it's nice to see two Pac-12 guys getting into the Heisman Trophy candidacy and going out on a high note. And I look for Michael Penix Jr. to win the Heisman tonight. And actually, did you see that was funny to Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a great receiver out of Ohio State. He's going to get paid more money to stay in college. He hasn't declared for the draft yet. He's going to get more NIL money and to stick around and play at Ohio State than he would going to whoever drafts him in the first round. Because usually wide receivers don't get a ton of cash in the first round. So it's going to be interesting to see if he comes out of college or what's going to happen there. Because money talks, but it's more long term money, I guess. But you can get set up pretty good with 25 sheets in the bank when you're 22 years old. I still in college, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. I expect him to come out of college, but you just never know with some of these guys, and like his dad and everything else. So they got some dough put away, but it's going to be interesting to see how that all turns out. I'd stick around. I'd stick in college. Why not? No pressure. Just go and play. Just go. 12-game schedule, make $25 million, still be in college, still screw around. I think it'd be a pretty easy choice for me, but that's just me. Anyways, there's my Saturday morning rants and thoughts and shots and everything else for this Saturday morning. 2 weeks till Christmas, man. It's crazy to think it's going that quick. But anyways, here's a word from our sponsors over there at SeatGeek. Give Santa and his elves a break from the grind this Christmas season and ask for tickets from SeatGeek. SeatGeek has tickets for shows, concerts, and sporting events from around the globe. And by using promo code 1420POD, you'll save $20 on tickets. Tickets make for great stocking stuffers and gifts, so go to SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app for all of your ticket needs this holiday season and use promo code 1420POD today for your Christmas ticket. There it is, promo code 1420POD for $20 off your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. And get some stocking stuffers and everything else for the holiday season, and treat the ones you love to some tickets for the new year. Always good. It's always a good thing. Anyway, let's get to birthdays and on this day and get you guys out of here. And then we'll go out. We'll play some more Save You from Jimmy Valentine, the birthday boy. 22 years young today. It's crazy to think. Crazy to think that young man's now a young man, actually. No, that's how you put it into perspective that way. Where are we here? They're a little sloppy on this Saturday morning. On this day in 1995, Eddie George of the Ohio State Buckeyes won the Heisman Trophy in his senior season at Ohio State. George rushed for a school record 1,927 yards and 24 touchdowns, and also caught 47 passes and an additional 417 yards and a touchdown. One of George's standout games of the season was in the Buckeyes' 45-26 win over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, where he rushed for 207 yards. In his career at Ohio State, George rushed for 3,768 yards and 683 attempts and 44 touchdowns, along with the Heisman. 1995, George went on to win the Walter Camp Award, the Maxwell Award, the Walker Award, Big Ten MVP, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, named a unanimous All-American and a first-team All-Big Ten. George had his number 27 retired by Ohio State, and was drafted in the first round, 14th overall in 1996 by the Houston Oilers. On this day, Eddie George won himself a Heisman Trophy, one of the all-time great, obviously, college running backs of all time. He was a pretty good pro, too, Eddie George. He was something else. And there he is getting his Heisman Trophy on this day in 1995. And happy birthday to retired Major League Baseball player Tony Batista. Batista was born on this day in 1973 in Puerto Plata of the Dominican Republic. Batista made his Major League debut on June 3rd, 1996 for the Oakland A's, going 0-for-3 with 2 strikeouts in the A's 2-1 win over the Kansas City Royals in front of a whopping 6,465 people in Oakland. Batista's best season came in 2000 as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays when he hit 41 home runs and had 114 RBIs and was named his first of 2 All-Star teams. Batista spent the 2005 season in Japan playing for the Fukuoka Hawks, hitting .263 with 27 home runs and 90 RBIs. In his 11 big league seasons, Batista hit 221 home runs, 718 RBIs, and had a career batting average of 251 with stops in Oakland, Arizona, Toronto, Baltimore, Montreal. That was their last year in the league. Like I said, then he went to Japan, Minnesota, and Washington. Happy birthday to Tony Batista, the strangest batting average in Major League Baseball history, that wide open stance. I don't know how he got anything on the outside of the plate, but it's one of those things. And happy birthday to Tony Batista. There it is. There's 14:20 in the morning for this Saturday. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Make sure you listen to some of our other shows that are all up there. We're closing in the 30,000 download mark for the year, so that's a little bit of a compliment. We're over that, but there's some extenuating circumstances. YouTube's big, and like I said, we are pretty proud of being nominated to be the one of the creators of the year over there at Belly Up Sports. So thank you very much for all the support that they give us and for all the support that our listeners and everything else give us on a daily basis. Enjoy your Saturday, folks. Have a good time. Put us in your ear. Put a whole bunch of things in your ear. Tell your neighbors about us while they're putting out their Christmas lights, while you're out doing your Christmas shopping, whatever you may be doing during this holiday season. Make us a part of your day each and every day. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. There we go. And we'll go out with a little Jimmy Valentine right after we
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.
So tell me why does it feel so empty when I look into your eyes? So tell me now what we have to do to get out. She said I don't hate you. It's getting harder to save you, girl. You can't help running from yourself. She said I think I still love you. I don't know what else I got to do. I don't have the answers, and I don't know where to go. Reconcile me, even if you think that you're too late.